Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Shannon and today's video is going to be on contouring. I'm not a professional makeup artist and I've never been to school for anything makeup related, so this is not a professional makeup tutorial. This video is just how I contour for my face, the products that I use, the brushes that I like to use, as well as some tips and tricks that I follow to get this look. If you're interested to see how I contour for my face, keep on watching. So the palette that I'm going to use to contour with is the IBY Beauty Highlight and Contour Palette. I got this in my Boxycharm a few months ago. I'm not really sure which month it was. And I usually go in with shade number 1 and 3 for the contour shades. I used to use shade number 1 and 2, but I realized that the shade number 2 is a little too warm for my skin tone. There's a few different brushes that I could use. Each of them gives you a different application. There's this crown brush. I got it in my Ipsy bag last September. It is the Ombre Angle Brush by Crown Brushes, and this is what it looks like. I also use this one here by e.l.f. This will give you a very sharp line. It's very dense. And this one as well. I got this in my Boxycharm. It is a Royal and Langnickle BMX 250 Chisel brush. And it's got kind of like a little curve, which will hug the cheekbone perfectly. And those brushes, these two I use only for my cheek contour. I don't use it for, well, I could use it for right here, but I don't use it for any other areas of the face. I like to use the crown brush for different areas of the face. And to contour the nose, I use this brush here. I got this one from Winners, I believe. And I also use this one here, which was from Amazon. It's like $1 on Amazon. It's very cheap, but it's also very detailed, so you can really, really hug the edges of the nose. So the brush that I'm going to use first is the crown brush. And I'm going to dip into shade 1 and 3. When I contour, I always check to see where this line is here. I do have a round face, but you can see where the line is in my cheek. If you don't have that, you can just go like this and just kind of suck in your cheeks a little bit. And you see that line there? That's where you want to put the contour. And when I apply the contour, I don't like to take it past the outer corner of my eye, so I don't like to take it past here. And I also don't drag it down past my lip. So I just try to keep it in this area. I don't try to take it more than down here. And I start from the top of my ear, so where the cheekbone kind of starts, I can feel kind of like where underneath the cheekbone is, and that's where I generally place the brush, so just in this area here. And for the first little bit, I don't load a lot of product onto the brush. I just kind of drag it down a little bit just to show where I want the contour. Just add a little bit more product. Just build it up. I like this palette because it's very buildable and it's very blendable. So it works very well for contour. And especially if you're starting out, this product is fairly easy to use. And I just blend it down. I don't want to take it lower than my mouth. It will start to look muddy in this area, and it always does for me. And also I like to contour the temple anywhere that there's like a little indent. So there's an indent in my temple here. There's a little bit of an indent in this area here as well. So I like to just dab in a little bit. I just kind of blend it down into the other contour just so that it doesn't look like very harsh differences. And for the jaw area, I use this brush, the crown brush, usually, just because I don't want a really harsh line on the chin. Typically, I don't take it all the way to the ear. I don't take it on the jawline, I take it just under the jawline where the shadow would be. And I don't like to add a lot to the jawline. I don't want a very harsh line on my jaw. Contour is not the same as bronzer. A lot of people think that it is. There is a very significant difference. First of all, the colors. With contour, you want it to be a little bit more cool toned, so like a grayish undertone, which is like these ones here. There's a grayer undertone, so it would end up looking more like a shadow. Whereas bronzer is like where the sun touches, so whatever touches the sun, it's like a sun-kissed bronzy look, which is a very warm tone. The contour, you want it to sit into the shadows, so the sun is not hitting those areas. So that's why one of the main differences for bronzer to contour. So you can't contour with a bronzer product because it would just look muddy in those areas. If you tried to apply something too warm in those areas, you would end up looking really, really odd. And it would look muddy or dirty. I mean, some people can contour. It depends on the tone of your skin. Mine is, I'm very, very pale. So if I put a warm contour on, it would not match my skin whatsoever. Another difference between contour and bronzer, another example would be this bronzer here by Essence is very orange toned and it is matte as well. So there's no sheen to it. There's no glitter. And this is the contour palette. This one you can tell is very orange toned, whereas this one here is gray or undertoned. You want this one to sit in the shadowed areas of your face. So the hollow of your cheek, your temples, the little indent on your forehead, your chin, your nose. Bronzer, you want to hit where the sun would touch. So the high points of your cheek, a little bit on the nose, the forehead area. But you wouldn't put it in the shadows because the shadows aren't that warm toned. So cool tones for shadows and warm tones for where the sun hits. So the other brush that I'm going to try is the Royal and Langnickle brush, the BMX 250 Chisel. I'm going to use that on this side to show you the difference. And don't be scared if it looks too dark. It will look way better after you finish your full face. And I kind of angle, I don't take the brush, I take it like this and then kind of drag it like this. Just because I don't want a harsh, thick line all the way down my cheek. And I do pretty much the same thing with the e.l.f. brush. I'll take it on the side and just make a straight line across my cheek. In that little, the hollow of the cheek there. And then after that, I'll just take the crown brush just to blend, because it is a very, very harsh application. But you don't want to blend down. You want this area to be clear. You don't want to bring the product down too far because then it will look very crazy. It'll look muddy and dirty. So two different applications. This one's a little less harsh. And then this one here. I'm just going to apply the contour to my temples as well. And I don't like to contour my whole forehead. I don't like the shadows in the whole area. I just like to blend here. And when I bronze over top, it helps to hide any of the harshness. And if your contour is a little too harsh in a certain area, you bring it too far down. You can use a translucent powder to clean up the lines. You can just use, you could use the e.l.f. brush, you can use this kind of brush here, or you can use a beauty sponge. You can just dip into your translucent powder. I'm just going to use my sponge. Just dip into the translucent powder and you can just cut the hole. I forgot to mention that the translucent powder that I'm using is the RCMA No Color powder, which I love. And it will clean up that line and cut it very, very sharp. You can see here the difference between how the two brushes perform. The one side is more bold and the other one is a little bit softer and a little bit more blended out. And to contour the nose, I usually start with this little brush here, and I'll just dip into both the colors. And I usually start not all the way at the top of the nose. I start kind of generally in the middle. I just kind of start to shape, just draw a straight line. You don't want to draw a crooked line because your nose is going to look broken. You want to draw a line as straight as you can, all the way to the tip of the nose. And I like to just drag it down a little bit like this on the edge. And then I'll bring it up. Depending on the color of my eyeshadow, I will sometimes meet the two of them together. And the closer you draw the lines, the more pinched your nose is going to look, and the farther apart, the more wide your nose is going to look. So if you want a really pinched look, you're going to want to draw the lines closer together. And then I'll just take the other brush here and just blend it down a little bit. I don't blend it over, or you want the whole bridge of your nose to be highlighted. You don't want to bring the product up over that area, or it will make your nose look just brown. So I just blend down a little bit, but I still want those lines to be there. So you don't want to blend the line away completely. And I'll just take a powder brush and just wipe away the excess. Translucent powder. And those lines are now very sharp. And I don't like to contour my chin. I know a lot of people like to contour this area of their chin. I don't. I just like to contour here and then those areas of the forehead that I want shadows, the nose and the chin. And I'm going to be right back with the rest of my face. I'll finish. So that's it for the video. This is how I like to contour my face. Everyone does things differently, so if I do something and it's not the way that you do it, I'm not saying that you're doing it wrong. This is just what works for my face. Makeup is always changing, everything is different for everybody else. So if you like the way that you're doing it and I'm saying that it's wrong, it really isn't. There really is no right or wrong way with makeup. It's just about having fun, and if you love the way that you look in your makeup, then that's all that matters. It's all about having fun with the products and just playing around with them and seeing what you like and what you don't. Each product will apply differently, the brushes will apply differently, the pressure that you use on the brush as well. The more pressure you apply using the brush, the more product is going to be laid down onto your face. If the brush is more dense, that means that it will leave a harsher line. If it's not as dense, so it's then it will leave a lighter line. Depending on the kind of contour that you like, if you like it really, really harsh, if you like that really dark line there, then go for something more like the e.l.f. brush or the Royal Langnickle brush. If you like a contour that's not as harsh, you use a brush that's not as dense, that would work perfectly. And also with the amount of pressure that you apply, if you hold the brush farther to the end, you'll have a looser grip and it'll be a looser application. If you have it right up here, it'll be a very, very straight application. So it's all about the way that you hold the brush. The brush does make a difference, but you have to make sure that you hold it properly. So some of the products that I wanted to mention that I'm using today, for my eyeshadow, I'm using a mix between a couple different colors. I'm using the Makeup Forever Palette 9 Artist Shadow. I picked this up in Toronto at Sephora last year, and I love this one. This palette is so amazing. These are all mattes, but I love them. I use this one here for my transition shade, and I use a little tiny bit of this one and a little bit of this one to darken the outer corner. I also use this palette here. It's Blinc and Boxycharm. I got it in my Boxycharm a couple months ago. This is what it looks like. These are very, very pigmented shadows. They're very creamy as well, and that's the bright red that's on the lid. The lipstick that I'm using is by Jeffree Star. It is called I'm Nude. And Jeffree Star's lipsticks are always amazing. This is what the applicator looks like. Yeah. Usually his lipsticks smell really good. Some of them don't smell like anything. Some of them smell like root beer, so they are amazing. And the lashes that I'm using right now I also got in my Boxycharm. They're by Pure Cosmetics, Diva. These are what they look like in the package. It's a very pretty packaging. Yeah, so those are some of the products that I am using on my face today. The contacts that I'm using as well are by PRIMAL Contacts, as always. They are Moonlight Azure, and these ones, I love them. They are very bright and bold, and they actually cover up my brown eyes, mostly. A no contour picture with contour, and then after I did the full face. So if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little notification bell so that you'll know when I upload next. Comment below to let me know what you think of this video, or if there's any ideas that you had for something you'd like to see me do next. I'm open to suggestions. Add me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I will leave all of that information below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. And hit that little notification. Making this more difficult than it has to be.